Hello. Keep it up. How's everyone doing? I'm ready for me to take my meds. Gabapentin, Topamax, iron, duloxetine, Docalax, hydroxyzine. Oh yeah, and magnesium. Magnesium is supposed to help you poop. Not poop, but it's supposed to help you with the headaches. So, and these orange pills are supposed to help you poop. You do hydroxyzine, it's an anti-anxiety medication, but it also helps you with allergies. So it's the only antihistamine that helps anxiety. Then I got a gabapentin. We got Topamax. Then I got iron. In Spanish, also known as hierro. How you doing, Sean? Sean B. Hey B. Then I've got. How you enjoy your TV? You do enjoy your TV, brother? My brother from another mother. TV. Enjoy. I'm charging I'm charging my backup battery. Tomorrow I'm starting to pack. Who's winning? I'm just packing whatever's in the bathroom and whatever's in the kitchen, like the thing. You a Braves fan? I didn't know you was a Braves fan. I didn't know you watch baseball. Oh, that's good. The Yankees took off today, so. Alexa, you gotta go to bed. I already fed you. I gotta get some more water, so give me a second. Over there, let's go. See your bed. I already fed you. Stop being greedy. Yup. They're right there. The Braves. You what? I love the new ABS systems. It embarrasses the umpire especially when they fuck up and they call the strikes terribly. I love Sean. How you love Sean? You don't even know Sean. How you doing, Hunter? Thank you. How's your day? I had Botox earlier. I gotta start packing. Is my left arm bigger than? Is my right arm bigger than? No, the same. You like and subscribe and stay here as long as possible. I need the watch hours. Me, what I'm up to tonight, not much. I just usually come, talk for an hour, depending how many people stay, and then I get off. If it stays 9 to 10 people, I stay longer. If there's only like 2 or 3 people, then I get off within an hour. So it depends how many people stay. Now they fixed this YouTube shit. Let's see what's new with YouTube Studios. I gotta put my glasses on. Yeah, I grew a beard. I'll probably take it. Yeah. About 2 years now. Almost 2 years. Right, Sean B? About 2 years? Yeah, to 2023. To 2020, 2024, I believe. Or 2023, maybe 3 years. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Yeah. I like dogs. I like dogs. I have a Yorkie. Sorry, I don't like birds. How you doing? That I still don't like birds. I don't have secrets. I don't have secrets. I got nothing to hide. Yeah, you said in March 2023, I believe I started. You could look it up again, but I don't know. I believe it's March 2023. So 3 years. I really started this channel just to make friends. Yeah. What is the trend that you think that is? Yeah, I play video games. What trend I think is overrated? The streaming. I think streaming services are overrated, overpriced. When you add Netflix and all those streaming services together, it's becoming more expensive than cable. I play once in a while. I play Fortnite, but I don't really play like that. Yeah, you can ask a question. Oh, January to oh, so 2 years old. Thank you, I appreciate it. January 9th, 2024. What do I think about the black community? I think black people are cool. Some of them, not all of them. The hood? What I think about the hood, it depends. You got some people in the hood that are cool and some people that are not. I grew up in the hood. Everywhere is not safe, so you gotta be who you are, you know. I grew up in Alphabet City. Yep. Never but judge a book by its cover. Yep. I don't. That God judge. I don't judge. No, I haven't. No, I don't. I believe in spirits. Are they the same thing? Mm. That's good that you believe it's the same thing. I appreciate it. Right now it's 12:03 a.m. Oh, this freaking cat's annoying.
The ABS system is already tormenting umpires. MLB has officially implemented the ABS system, where batters and pitchers can request a challenge for a call to be reviewed. The pitch is electronically reviewed and will either stand or be overturned. In the first inning, top and bottom, this umpire was already challenged 3 times, with all 3 of his calls successfully reversed. The ABS system is already tormenting.
These MLB umpires suck. I can't wait to get some carnival cake next week. I love some ice cream cake. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like it, but I like it. boy. When did that happen? Yo, chat. It says ChatGPT predicts the next couple of World Series. It says the 2020s up to 2050. It says the LA Dodgers is gonna win this year. The Yankees gonna win next year. In 2028, it's gonna be Atlanta Braves. 2029, it's gonna be the Orioles. 2030 is gonna be the in 2030 in 2030 is gonna be Seattle. 2031 is gonna be LA again. 2032 is gonna be the Cubs. 2033 is gonna be the Mets. 2034 is gonna be the Texas Rangers. 2035 is gonna be Toronto Blue Jays. 2036 is gonna be um the SD team, which I don't know who's that. 2037 is gonna be the Boston Red Sox. 2038 is going to be since Cincinnati. 2039 is gonna be the team that's playing right now. 2040 is gonna be the Phillies. 2041 is gonna be the Houston Astros. 2042 is gonna be some other team. 2043, 2044, 2045 will be the Tigers. 2046 is Kansas City. 2047 is gonna be Tampa Bay. 2049 is gonna be San Francisco Giants. 48 is gonna be San Francisco Giants. 2049 is gonna be the New York Yankees, and 2050 is gonna be some other team. Those are the next predictions of the World Series champions for the next 50 years. Or 24 years. So go to bed. Just don't go to bed. Crucifix. Nobody wants to be crucified. Take care. What everybody had for dinner today? New York City, New York City, New York City wants to propose mandatory roommates for one bedroom apartment. That guy's an idiot. So then we shouldn't have to pay rent then. If I have to share with a person that I don't know, then I have to. Then I, unless it's if it's with somebody I don't know, then I'm, I'm not sure no other dude, bro. Um, where did everybody go? It says the PlayStation 6 is gonna be $6.99. I know you still here. Sean B's always here. That's the minimum. Sean B is one of the loyal people in this channel. I appreciate it. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Beneficiaries who are receiving monthly benefit checks from the Social Security Administration through the Supplemental Security Income Program, which does encompass about 7.5 million people across the country who are low income, maybe 65 plus, or under the age of 65 with disabilities, and you're reliant on your monthly benefit in a massive, massive way. Well, guess what? We finally got a really good update out of some lawmakers, 30 plus lawmakers who are coming together on a bipartisan basis, coming together, reintroducing the SSI Restoration Act. This is really good stuff, considering that we now have the reintroduction.
Yeah, but they wanna force people to live in poverty.
It's the first inning, and the Phillies are down 4-0, and there's 2 runners on base. This breakdown is brought to you by SeatGeek. It hasn't been a fun time. Manager Rob Thompson's not having fun. Joey Weimer on the Nationals having a ton of fun. At this point in the season, I don't think he had gotten out yet. He broke the record or tied the record. First pitch, in there for a strike. They're an out away from ending the inning. That one to first base, caught, gathered, tossed, and out. But they continue playing just in case, and now there's a runner in the middle, and they're just going to get the out, because that's what you're taught to do. Play until the whistle. No whistle in baseball, but play through it, because you never know what happens. They teach you that. It's called the phantom fourth out. Just in case that third out gets overturned, you play until it's dead, and you go for that phantom fourth out, which is what they did. But it gets tricky when it gets reviewed, and Joe Weimer's like, please challenge that. I have a streak on the line. I'd really like you to challenge that. Please challenge that.
Washington challenging the call at first base.
So he gets his wish. And now Rob Thompson is just sitting there and stewing, thinking, okay, so they better not, if he's safe, they better not put that runner back to third, because he committed and he's just sitting there and kind of stewing on what he knows is about to happen. Joey Weimer review. Oh, not what you want to see, but what you need to see. His helmet fell off, blinded him. He caught it, slipped, came up. So challenge it. Challenge it. Very athletic play. Bryce Harper tosses it to Walker, who's covering, and the runner did win the foot race. He was way behind. Look how much ground he covers on just the last step. And the pitcher's got to look down and find the bag. The runner doesn't. So he is going to be safe, which means then they need to figure out what to do with this runner who did round third, never really stopped until the umpire called him out, was caught in no man's land. Was like, whoa, you chasing me? Oh my God, you chasing me? Oh, wow. And now you hurt me. And Thompson's like, I know what these guys are going to do. I know exactly what they're going to do. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to get mad about it before it even happens. I'm going to think about what I'm going to say because I know what you are about to do.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe at first base. The runner at third will return to third base. We have bases loaded with 2 outs.
Yes, so Rob Thompson now is going to come out.
Their challenge.
Not what manager the Phillies wanted to hear, and umpire Marv Hudson knows exactly that, so he looks right at him. He says, you can't come out here, Robbie. I don't care. I don't care. He kept running. He kept running. He kept running. That's bullshit, Marv, and you know it. Whoever's doing the fucking replay, you tell them they fucked it up because he kept running. He kept running. All right, I understand but that. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. It really is. I don't give a fuck. That guy truly fucked it up. I want to know who it is. I want to know who it is because that guy kept running. Our guys throw the ball to the plate, and he stops when they throw the ball to the plate. Yep. And we tag his ass at the plate. It's fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. It's fucking ridiculous. So let's take a look at the play, and then I'll explain the rule. You've got the pitch. It's hit. You got the runner on second. Now look at the runner on second. He's rounding third. The third base coach is waving him home. The play is being made at first, and right now, the umpire punches him out and makes the out call right then. The runner has committed to being halfway at that point. So what manager Topper of the Phillies is saying is that, hey, no matter what, if the pitcher throws this ball home or he throws this ball to third, we've got this guy out because he's just running around in no man's land. Why should he get to go back safely? He was clearly trying to score. But here's why the rule is the way it is. If, say, this ball was thrown home and botched and went awry, and then the runner saw that and scored, and then they overturn the third out, and they say the run scores, Topper would run out and be like, that's bullshit. My catcher saw you call out, so he got distracted. He didn't care about the play anymore. My pitcher heard you call out, so he didn't even try to throw it home because you called out. And then they would get mad. But they wouldn't even do that. They would send him back to third because that's what the rule is, even though he scored on an errant throw. And then the manager of the Nationals would come out and be like, why are you sending him back to third? He scored. They clearly tried to make a play at the plate, and they botched it. And they would say, yeah, but they could have botched it because of the out. So that's why MLB says if the phantom fourth out comes into play, if the third out of the inning gets overturned, runners just go back to the last base, they touch, and probably one of the managers gets ejected. It just seems like this is a situation where one of the managers is going to be mad no matter what, but that's why they rule it the way they do, because I feel like I explained it well. If you want to go see this in person, you get 10% off by using code JohnBoy10 at SeatGeek, and you can be the umpire, you can explain it, you nudge.
That is bullshit, though. It makes sense.
I was wrong about skipping perfect order. But not for the reason you might think. This is how a set can be so bad that it can actually make you money. There was a great time to buy Shrouded Fable Pokemon Center ETBs, believe it or not. Opinions were notoriously negative online, and people sold their pre-orders. The price crashed to £50. 8 months later, though, it was up to 120. And then Perfect Order, pre-orders for the Pokemon Center ETBs were at about 90, and they've now fallen to 80. If they reach 70, well, the booster boxes haven't moved from their pre-order price of 160. And if these fell to MSRP, well, something about that value play makes me excited. Would you like 30% return in 1 year? I would.
What do I know? I know everything. Not everything. I just know. I know certain things.
Today is one of the biggest announcements I have ever made on this channel. For years, I've submitted cards through the big grading companies. After seeing cracked 9s turned into 10s or 7s, their ridiculously inconsistent grades, and turnaround times that have made literally 0 cents, I've decided to stop complaining and actually do something about it. I'm excited to announce that I have built the grading company to solve all of these problems. Today, I am officially launching the Statistical Card Analysis and Measurement Company. Grading company built on transparency, accuracy, consistency, and being collector first. The goal was simple: take the emotion and inconsistency out of grading. Collectors need grades they can trust, not opinions, not different outcomes based off the day a card was graded or how good a grader was feeling. So this company was built around measurable data. Every card is graded through our proprietary standardized card analysis model. This allows us to quantify the defects with an unprecedented level of consistency. Let's take a look at some of these deep grading parameters. Centering is going to be analyzed first. You have your left to right border ratios, your top to bottom symmetry, you've got print registration drift, as well as your visual optical balance. We measure the human eye bias compensation because mathematically centered doesn't always mean it's perfect. Now our surface is going to make up about 35%. You've got hollow scratching, print lines, silvering, dimples, residue, clouding, roller marks, and even micro fingerprint oil. Our model uses angled light distortion.
No, don't start, Alexa.
These flaws under direct light because sometimes when you turn the card, it looks a little different than looking it straight on. We've got our corners scanned in at 40%. So when we zoom in at 40x, we can make sure that we see everything from whitening to edge fuzz, foil lift, factory chipping, and even breaks in the color around every edge and corner. We also normalize based on the production area. A card created in 1999 is not the same as a card created in 2026. And we know that when those manufacturing differences show up, we need to account for that. Our edges are scored separately because edge flaws drastically change the eye appeal. When you're looking at a card and you see a bad edge, you instantly think that the grade should be lower, and we do too. Now, where we truly become revolutionary, oh my gosh, there's a bug flying around. Now, where we truly become revolutionary is how our standardized card analysis model combines our technical grading with our collector psychology. This is something that has never been done before. Beyond these measurable flaws, our model also calculates eye appeal, shelf presence, display confidence, and our liquidity profitability. Because in the real hobby, for true collectors, how a card feels matters more than how a card actually is. Our score will generate that final grade recommendation based off of all of these factors. We also fixed one of the hobby's most frustrating pain points, and that is understanding how much is it going to cost to grade. Well, here at the Statistical Card Analysis and Measurement Company, it's simple. Every card is just $99. No hidden fees, no declared values, no service tiers, just one honest price. If you disagree with the grade, all you have to do is resubmit it to the elite assessment tier. And what that gets you is a reevaluation for, you guessed it, just $99. Now, guys, let's make sure to recap here. At the Statistical Card Analysis and Measurement Company, we use the standardized card analysis model. Now, some of you may have already caught on, but yes, the company is scam. Because if I'm launching a grading company on April 1st, I want you to know that it's going to be a scam within a scam. At Scam, we also offer premium labels. If chat says W, automatic gem min. If my wife thinks it's cute, that's a black label. If the vendor says, oh, I was going to grade that, pristine. And if it's your childhood Charizard, we don't assign a grade. It literally just gets a fire emoji. Happy April Fools, guys. But in all honesty, with some of the grades I've seen lately, Scam might not be too far behind. Take care. Peace.
What was the April Fool's joke? Oh, ha, 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 ha.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Market Movers video. My name is Tyler Nethercott, better known as Teapot, and it is September 3rd right now when I'm
What do you say? Wanna listen to a song? What song? I don't do song requests. How you doing, Marisol?
You're making a huge mistake investing in slabs. Let me show you why using Surging Sparks and its Pikachus. Firstly, to the Rippers, hoping for this Pikachu. Don't bother. With its pull rate, it'll take you 26 of these to get your hands on it. That's £6,000, by the way. Ripping is ruled out. But now the PSA 10, that looks more appealing. 35% gem rate, so these feel rare, but there are still thousands out there. So let's compare their growth. Honestly, so far they've kind of performed the same. But here's what you need to know. Booster boxes are deflationary. Every time one of these gets opened, there's one less on the market. So supply just keeps dropping and dropping, and meanwhile, there's just more of these getting pulled. So if I had to choose between these three, the booster box is winning every time. You're making a huge mistake investing in slabs.
Wow. That's crazy. This girl's conviction was overturned. Letitia Stanch. You heard that girl's.
She is one of the most notorious defendants of recent memory. Why would Letitia Stouch, of all people, get a new trial? But that is exactly why she's in the news tonight. Letitia Stouch was accused and convicted of a truly heinous crime. Prosecutors say she murdered her 11-year-old stepson, stuffed his body into a suitcase, and drove to Florida, where she left the suitcase under a bridge and just returned home, and then pretended she had absolutely no idea where her stepson was. But today, the Colorado Court of Appeals has issued a ruling that she will get a new trial. Welcome to tonight's live stream. Hi, y'all, and let's get started. This is one of those rulings that, at first glance, feels almost impossible to understand. I mean, there was a trial, right? A jury found her guilty. A trial court sentenced her. Why would we start all over again? And believe it or not, it all comes down to one single juror. We'll cover three things in this video. First of all, who is Letitia Stouch? What is this new ruling? And then finally, what does it mean for the case? So let's dive in. On January 27, 2020, Letitia Stouch reported that her stepson Gannon was missing. She claimed he left home to walk to a friend's house and just didn't come home. Now, the wheels of law enforcement swung into motion. The FBI got involved. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children showed up. Both the Colorado Springs Police Department and El Paso Sheriff's Department worked to find Gannon. And it took a little over a month for law enforcement to slice through the misinformation. And on March 2nd of 2020, Letitia Stouch was arrested. She was charged with first-degree murder of a child by a person in a position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. Now, the details in the arrest affidavit were sickening. Letitia Stouch, it said, was so committed to making sure that Gannon died that she stabbed him 18 times, hit him in the head with something, and then shot him on top of all that. Gannon was 11 years old when he died in his own bedroom. Letitia stuck his body in a suitcase, drove around with it, authorities say, and then at some point apparently rented a van and took Gannon's remains to Florida to dump them there. A maintenance worker was horrified to find them under Escambia Bay Bridge. Now, Letitia claimed she was not guilty by reason of insanity. The jury rejected that defense, found her guilty on all charges, and the judge told her her actions were the most horrific I've ever seen and sentenced her to life plus 156 years. Now, so far, I'm probably not making you feel like this is someone you want to see retried, but that is not the question that was before the Colorado Court of Appeals. The question was not whether Letitia was guilty, whether she deserved a new trial. It was whether the trial she got was fair under the Constitution and under Colorado law. And the court said it was not. Here's why. Let's begin with the actual ruling. It's strong. The Colorado Court of Appeals typically has some options. It could modify whatever the sentence is. It could change the sentence, in other words, or it could send the case back for a very limited issue. That's not what happened here. What happened here is that the Court of Appeals reversed the conviction of Letitia Stouch. The case will now be remanded for a brand new trial, and Letitia will once again be presumed innocent. The fact that there is a new trial tells you that the Court of Appeals believed this was a very fundamental issue that went to the core of the trial. It was what's called a structural error. That means that once the court finds that error occurred, it is an automatic reversal. They don't have to ask the question, did it really make a difference? Did it affect the outcome? If it happened, they reverse, the person gets a new trial. So why did this happen? What was that structural error? Well, as I said, it all came down to one juror. It's important to realize what that means. This is not about whether Letitia was innocent. The court did not say there was a lack of evidence, that there was no rational ground for the jury to find her guilty. Instead, the question was whether this one juror was qualified to serve on the jury. The court said no, and it was an emphatic no. The court should never have let this juror sit on the jury in the first place. Now, here's what happened. During jury selection, the lawyers get to ask the jurors questions to make sure they can serve on the jury and be fair. So during the selection process, as the jurors were answering questions, one potential juror said that his son-in-law worked in the same district attorney's office that was prosecuting the case against Letitia. So in other words, he was related by his daughter's marriage to someone who worked in the office that was prosecuting the case. Now, to make it easier for courts to make this decision, the Colorado legislature has enacted a law that says if a juror is related, quote, within the third degree to either the defendant, that would be Letitia, or any attorney of record in the case, then that juror is out. So the language actually says that any, quote, relationship within the third degree by blood, adoption, or marriage, close quote, is covered. And the juror was related to an attorney in the office within the third degree by marriage. So the lawyers don't have to prove that the juror is biased. The person is considered impliedly biased. They can't serve. And the defense recognized this right away. They challenged the juror for cause, which is exactly what is supposed to happen in the course of this. But the problem is that the trial court did not remove the juror. And that's it. It all comes down to that one juror. And the appellate court said because that one juror stayed on the panel and participated in deliberations, it had to reverse. The jury was not constitutionally valid. It was a structural problem, and it means Letitia gets a new trial. Now, the court does not go behind this and say, well, the evidence was overwhelming. Any juror would have felt the same way. Even a juror who wasn't impliedly biased would have concluded this woman was guilty. So since a juror fit in this category in the law, the convictions are returned. Letitia gets to start over with a new. The prosecution tried to argue that the defense should have used one of its peremptory challenges on the juror. Now, each side gets a chance to use a peremptory challenge, which just means to strike a few jurors that they don't like. The prosecution says, look, if the juror was that bad, the defense shouldn't have left them on the jury. It had stripes. It could have just removed the juror. It had the option to do that. And the appellate court said, yeah, that's not how it works. The legislature has picked out certain people who cannot serve on the jury. It's up to the judge to make sure that happens. The party doesn't have to use up one of the party's stripes, because you only get a few, to get those people off the jury. And as an attorney, I can say you hoard those stripes like gold. It seems like you never have enough, and you're always trying to figure out how best to use these. So there was a dissenting opinion in the case. That means a judge said, I don't agree with the rest of you. I may be in the minority, but I don't agree with you. And the judge said the defense should have used the strike. And if it didn't, the defense had waived the right to argue this on appeal. So let's get to what comes next. Letitia Stout will get a new trial, but the court is not ruling that she's going to walk free. She will get another trial, and her attorneys probably will ask the court to let her out on bond, but it's very unlikely that will be granted. The appellate court is also not saying that there wasn't enough evidence in the case, that it was insufficient, that the jury was wrong. Nothing like that is being said here. In fact, the court addressed other issues in the case, such as the search for the defendant's cell phone, and said there was no error in that. The ruling is entirely about who sat on the jury, not about anything related to the facts of the case itself. Every defendant, and this applies regardless of what the charges against them are, is entitled to a jury that is completely impartial. And when that standard isn't met, the system doesn't try to just patch the problem, you start over. And that is exactly what's happening here. Now, legally, the case will return to the trial court as if the original trial had not occurred, which means the prosecution has to decide Will it retry the case? In a case of this magnitude, it would be extremely unusual not to proceed with a new trial, but it is truly starting over. A jury has to be picked all over again. The evidence has to be presented again. The witnesses have to testify again. So it changes things dramatically because both sides have already gone through the trial process once. They know what the witnesses are going to say. That will shape how they strategize, what their plan is for the next trial. It will shape how they cross-examine witnesses, maybe even which witnesses they choose to call. Maybe it will be a different set this time than last time. But for the most part, the facts will remain the same. The court's rulings will almost certainly be pretty close to what they were last time, which means Letitia Stouch gets a new trial, but not necessarily a new result. So like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.
Luigi Maggioni.
Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the other charges that Corey Richens is facing, yet how Corey's mind works, you know, and why she was so damn greedy, where that really came from, and why the prosecutor said in closing arguments over and over again, Corey was extremely ambitious. And I'm like, yes, she was. Motivator was pure greed, like to an uncontrollable level.
Corey Richens clings to the facade that has enabled her to get away with so much for so long. And despite all the evidence, Corey Richens doubles down and blames Eric. She is intensely ambitious. See through her facade, check her ambition. Do not let her get away with murder.
So this is a message that she had sent to her former lover, Robert Josh Grossman, who testified at the trial. I think it was on.
All right, guys, I'll be back later. Thank you for joining me, Sean B.
If you have no idea what this case is about as well, you can find video.
I'll be back later. Thank you, Sean B. Bye, everyone.